look at this. This actually looks pretty good. So I'm back here in the US. I'm in my car. I just ended up playing some soccer. And it was fun. I actually had a blast playing soccer. Something I wanted to talk about was the difference between funerals. So while I was in Mexico, my grandpa passed away. And he was my last living grandpa. My last living grandparent. And telling you now, it actually kind of hits a little bit. It hits me mostly when I say that he was my last living grandparent, because now I will never know like my grandparents' stories. And I always go back to this one story of my grandpa, and I think it's hilarious. At first, when I was younger, I hated it. I was so mad at my grandpa for doing this. But I was like 6 or 7, and my dad used to love to go take my grandpa to work with him. And they would work out in these fields, like huge fields. And I don't know what they would do, but they would just like work on fields. Probably like, I don't know, probably like bucking hay or something. And so one day, my dad was on one side. He was like on the right side, I remember. He was on the right side, and my grandpa was on the left side. But he was like super far, and I was like somewhere in the middle. I was like playing with something, some like grass. And then I feel like something on my thigh. And I don't look down, but it kind of like itches me. You know, I'm like, what is this thing? And instead of me looking down and seeing what is that, I go and I slap. Like, don't even look. I just slap the crap out of my thigh. And I start feeling this stinging in my finger. And I start crying like crazy. And instead of running to my dad, I run to my grandpa. And I'm like booking it like this little kid, just running and crying at my grandpa. And I'm like, look, my thumb, my finger. And he's like, what are you crying for me? What are you crying at me for? Go cry to your dad. But it was just the way that my grandpa's personality was that that's how it was. Like it wasn't coming out of malice. It was just like he didn't know what to do, you know? So he was just like I don't know. Like he was freaking out as much as I was freaking out. He was like, go to your dad. So then what I had to do was book it all the way from my grandpa all the way to my dad. And it's funny because I don't remember anything after that. Maybe I remember like us getting back in the truck, and I finished like crying and whatever, and I'm just like, but my dad, like, he did something and he helped me, and that just makes me emotional. Just now, even with my dad, he's not dead, but just how quick life can change, and you know, it makes you appreciate it. I guess this is a deeper vlog for you guys, but something that I really found fascinating was with my grandpa passing away. It was my first Mexican funeral. And for those of you that have been to an American funeral, I've been to plenty of American funerals. When my grandma passed away here in America too, we had an American funeral. But so with American funerals, we already know kind of how it is. It's very like organized. Like you have an hour for this, and like an hour to hang out, an hour to be like, but it's very like, it's kind of quiet. It's kind of more relaxed. It's like you're really mourning. You're really feeling it, you know. There might be some times where people go up and they kind of talk about them, or talk about the person that passed away, and they kind of bring up some jokes and something like that. But you can really feel it almost, you know. And then after that, they have a video kind of like talking about like photos or videos of that person. It's a celebration of life, right? And then it's over. A Mexican funeral, it's they pass away, and so depending on where they pass, they send them into a room at the cemetery. And so what you do now is the next day you lo velas, and I hope I'm saying this right, I'm not butchering this, but what the velar is you have all day and all night with the body and the casket's right there, right? It's right there, and his body's in there, and people are coming and going. Some people stay there all night. And so the family will come and go and stay there. And it's very much like a party. It's so cool. Like, people are serving tacos. You have a waitress. Sorry, my keys are like falling. But you have a waitress that comes, and she like kind of helps. Like, she's like, hey, would you like some coffee? Would you like some tacos? Would you like just anything, you know? But then the funny thing is that you have kids like running around. Like, it feels like a party. If you've ever been to a carne asada, it feels like a carne asada. People are having a good time. People are laughing. People, like, and that actually made me appreciate Mexican funerals a lot more. And the cool thing is that my mom and my grandpa and all that family is from a small part in Mexico. And I think it's like a town of 20,000 people. And so what happens is when a person passes away, what they do is that from the place that they had the body, they put him in, one of those cars. I don't know what the name of the car is. And they drive them slowly, like they have like an escort, and they take him all the way to the funeral or to where the graveyard to where they're gonna bury him. And people may know him, people may not have known him, but what they'll do is they'll pay their respects. And us as family, friends, and loved ones, we will walk with him. So it's very much like you're taking care and you're being there with the soul up until the very, very, very end. And that really, that also really resonated with me. I thought that was really nice because it shows how much as a culture, like we're so tight-knit in the Mexican culture. And it made me appreciate being a Mexican so much more because I was having such a tough time. Because when I'm in America, you really focus on, being American and focus on, for me, this is only just me speaking here, but I focus on, like, my English because that's pretty much all I speak here in America is English. Over there in Mexico, I remember I was having a tough time speaking Spanish, but it was just so interesting for me to finally get that culture shock. And then I even told my mom, I said, Mom, when I pass away, she's over here like, why would you even say that? And I'm like, but I'm just kind of thinking about it. Like, if I were to pass, or once I pass away, like, I really want mine to be like that. But the thing is, too, even after they pass away, they have 40 days. So this is the Catholic culture. But because we become Christian, we're doing about 5 days, but they do 40 days of where they just go pray, they have fun, they cry, they say stories, they eat, they congregate even more for the soul. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. Like, how tight-knit the Mexican culture is. And how, like, to the very, 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 very end, they will be there with you. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. But yeah, that was my experience with my grandfather's passing. If you're Mexican and you've been to a velorio, and you know what I'm talking about. And it's, for me personally, I think it's a really beautiful thing. And I'm grateful to have been there for my grandpa. Even the last couple of days when he was alive, I was there me and my mom took care of him. And then I was there to be there to bury him. And I'm very grateful that and I didn't even want to do this. To be honest with you, I told myself that I wanted to dodge this. I told myself I didn't want to deal with this. I told myself that what I would do is that I would encourage my family and love them, but I wouldn't be part of this. I would be there from a distance. And what happens? Smack dab, the middle of the time that we're going to go, my grandpa gets sick, and then we go and have to take care of it. My grandpa passes away. And I'm there at the funeral, and then I'm there and we bury him. But looking back now, I wouldn't have changed it any other way. But funny how that works. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.